on the big bikes, ruts like these can be really challenging. It's somewhere I see a lot of people losing a lot of energy, and unfortunately you see a lot of guys getting injured in this sort of situation as well, especially sort of lower leg injuries, foot, ankles, that sort of stuff. So there is a fair bit of technique in getting this right, and a big part of it is confidence and being able to stay relaxed so that you're in charge of the bike, the rut's not bossing you around too much, and you can hold your balance, hold your momentum. So a really important thing is to try to keep your upper body as relaxed as you possibly can. So we've talked about this a lot in the basic standing technique. This is where it really starts to come into play. If you're using your upper body, using your arms to stabilize the bike and to stabilize your body, your upper body becomes really stiff and you're going to start working against the edges of the rut. You want to be locking in with your lower legs, engaging your core, stabilizing through your core, and allowing your upper body to stay really relaxed and allow the rut to guide the front wheel without you fighting against it. As soon as you stiffen up your upper body, as soon as you tense up your arms, you're going to start fighting against the edge of the rut, and the rut's going to take over, it's going to spoil your balance, and down you're going to go. So even though it's a scary situation going with the ruts sometimes, you've got to consciously switch your hands off. Relax your hands, relax your upper body, and rely on your legs and your core to create that stability. When I come across a rut on the trail that I have to go into, the first thing I think about is trying to switch off my arms. So the thing I shout to myself is no handlebars. Leave the handlebars alone, do all my balance and my control through my hips and through my head, leaving my arms soft and relaxed, allowing that front wheel to be guided by the rut, not fighting against the edge of it. Another really important thing is to have your toes tucked in. So we see a lot of guys riding with their toes pointing out the side like this, like a duck. We want to bring those toes in and get back onto the balls of your feet so that your feet aren't going to get dragged against the side of the rut, leveraging your foot around. We call that backwards foot syndrome. It hurts a lot. So it's better for technique, it's better for gripping the bike, it's better for your balance. But in this situation, really what it's all about is keeping your feet tucked out of danger and not damaging yourself. So another really important thing with this is keeping your eyes up and looking to where you want to be. It's very easy to allow your focal point to come right down. That really spoils your balance. And also you want to be able to see where the rut's going. If the rut's ending, you can see the end of the rut, it's not too bad a situation. That's going to need the confidence to kind of accelerate towards that. The other side of it is, if the rut that you're in, that you're stuck in, is going to some godforsaken mud hole, into something really horrible, you're going to have to look for somewhere to change your line, get up out of that rut. So keeping that eyes up rather than dealing with exactly what's going on in front of you is really, really important in this situation. So key points at this stage: number one, keeping those toes tucked in, out of danger. Number two, trying to use your body, your hips, your head to balance the bike, leaving your arms really, really soft and relaxed to avoid fighting the rut. And number three, keeping your vision up, keeping looking down to the end of your rut to make sure you're checking your line and to keep your balance, keep your control. So toes tucked in, body, not arms, and eyes up. That's what we really want to avoid. It's using that front tire to create the balance, that handlebars to create the balance. You can see as soon as I start doing that, the front edge of my tire starts working against the side of the rut and it pulls me around. It makes it really, really hard to control the bike. We want to keep that front end nice and relaxed, keep that front wheel going straight, so it just kind of bounces slightly from the side of the rut and you're allowing the rut to guide the bike, not fighting against the rut. So keeping that upper body super, super relaxed. So imagine this rut was deeper and we're starting to get worried about the foot pegs and the engine cases, the tanks sort of catching on the rut, clearance problems. There is a more advanced technique that'll allow you to kind of keep the bike a bit higher out the rut and get through those sort of situations, and it's called grinding the rut. So we're going to have the back tire in the rut and the front tire out of the rut on the side, and you're grinding against the edge of the rut and basically crabbing up the side of it. It requires a lot of balance, but it gets the cases, gets the pegs up out of the rut, and will get you through in those situations where the bike would get jammed up. So you have to use your hips a lot to create that balance and to stop sort of getting tipped into it. And you've got to be really cautious on where you have your front tire. So you want your front tire just right on the edge of the rut, not out in here. That's going to create too much angle and sort of make you breach. And then you're swapping your front wheel from one side of the rut to the other to help keep that balance. It is a pretty advanced technique and something to try when those ruts become a lot deeper and when you're confident with the basic technique. So next thing to do is try and find some bigger ruts, some gnarlier stuff, to try and show you that technique working even harder. All right, these are proper ruts now. You can see how important it is for me to keep my toes in. If I have my toes sticking out the side here, they're going to get wedged into the bank really quickly. My feet are going to get smashed. And a bigger bike like this can be very, very dangerous. So I need to keep those toes tucked right in. Again, try and keep my upper body relaxed. And for this stuff, I'm going to try and keep my weight a bit further towards the rear to keep that back tire planted and the front end light. It's all about sort of trying to hold your momentum through this sort of stuff. I'm going to do my absolute best to stay on the foot pegs, but if I can't stay on the foot pegs and I've got to drop to the seat, I'm going to drop to the seat a little bit further back, and I want to make sure I keep my feet right out in front of me. So it's this sort of a movement, not allow my feet to get dragged behind. As soon as you start doing that, you're going to get pulled off the back of the bike and lose all your momentum. So it's really important, plan A is trying to keep your feet on the pegs. Plan B, keeping those feet in front of you, to keep the balance, keep driving forwards rather than getting dragged out the back of the bike. So in this situation, I'm doing it all in first gear. I want to make sure I've got a reasonable amount of RPM there, so I've got some good balance in the engine, and I've got some responsiveness there. So when I want it to go, it's going to go. So if the rut suddenly gets deeper, if I lose traction, I need to be able to get on that power without the bike sort of bogging or being unresponsive. So I'll give this a go, run it through a few times, and hopefully I can do what I say I can do. So when the ruts get super deep, obviously you've just got to try and stay out of them. Now with adventure bikes being a lot wider than dirt bikes, if we slide into the same rut that's been created by a dirt bike, we're going to get stuck, especially on the BMWs with the cylinders sticking out the side. So to keep your bike up out of the rut, I'm using a lot of foot peg pressure. Again, using my hips and my head to create the balance. And I'm trying to weight my bike to push it into the side of the hill as much as I can. So in this situation, trying to stay out of the rut, falling down there, I want to have my weight to the outside, to the downhill side, my weight on the downhill foot pegs, and trying to push my tires into the side of the hill as much as I can to stop them from sliding out from underneath me. That lets me stick to the off camber rather than sliding into the rut as much as possible.